Welcome back to Impulse Plays. I am Crazy Carl Winter here with Ryan, Fire Guy, Marvin, who I now know understands the reference I'm talking about. You still doing well, Ryan?
I am still doing great, Carl.
Awesome. Yeah, we're doing our second video of the day, which may be the first one you see. We'll see. I don't know. It's just the magic of how YouTube production works. But we got a cool match
Yeah.
from our recent 1K between two very powerful and fast combo decks. We have Dance Academy, played by me, and Mono Blue Frantic Storm, played by Rich Bork out of Syracuse, who I've known Rich for a long time. So it's really nice. It's been really nice to reconnect with him through PREMODERN, and he's got a sweet list here. So I'm gonna pull that up and it's a pretty normal storm list where you're bouncing Cloud of Fairies and generating storm count and then brain freezing people out. But the differences, at least from what I see typically, are fewer Lotus Petals, more bounce, and more draw with accumulated knowledge. Ryan, you were saying this is a little different than the one you've played in the past.
Yeah, the four AKs I think are really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love the card, not only because it is in the Dandan deck,
Mm-hmm.
but also I think it's just such a great way to just increase value.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I
For sure.
for not playing for Lotus Petal, kind of it. I don't know how it feels, other
Mm-hmm.
than it feels weird. But
Mm-hmm.
I have nowhere near enough, storm reps to be making an informed deck building decision here. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really don't either. That said, my Dance Academy list, which I'll pull up now, has four Lotus Petals. This deck is looking to do some wacky stuff. The main thing is to get Mind Over Matter in play, usually by Academy Rector, and then you then dance a Corpse Dance or Shallow Grave out and Arcanus, which draws you your deck between Mind Over Matter and Arcanus, and then you discard a Kamal. You bring back the Kamal and you use a bunch of cards to Lightning Bolt your opponent down. To get you there, you've got Intuitions, Read the Runes, Frantic Searches, and Buried Alive to get the creatures where you want them. Got some Cabal Therapies as a sack outlet and Disruption, and then Lotus Petals, some Soul Lands, and Dark Rituals as acceleration. There's also a fun of Form of the Dragon, which I've since taken out. Like you sometimes steal games with it, but more often than not, it just doesn't get there. So, but sweet deck. And this should be an interesting match because they're both pretty quick decks, and I think they're going to kind of play past each other for the most part. But let's take a look at it. So we got me on the left, and then Rich on the right.
And Carl, in preparation for the tournament, how much Dance Dance Revolution did you play?
Zero. I have not played Dance Dance Revolution
Zero.
since I was in college. I have
Ah.
that said, I do have dance pads for the PlayStation 2 tucked away in a cabinet in my living room. So they it's still
Okay.
it's still a possibility. Still a possibility. The PlayStation 3, I
So
can't
for the
remember.
next 1K or the next time you play Dance Academy, you have to break out the
Hmm.
dance pads to
And
practice.
use that as the playmat actually.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so it looks like I'm mulling to six, and I'm thinking about putting a frantic search on the bottom. I do not have a lot of lands in this hand. I think I see a land and a lotus petal. Oh, okay, yeah, putting Arcanus on the bottom. That's actually something kind of cool about this Dance Academy deck is that it mulligans really well because you get to put crappy 6 mana spells or 7 mana spells on the bottom of your deck, and that's always fun.
Yeah, it's very Angry Hermit esque.
Hmm.
In the deck pictures, we even saw the presence of the Sutured Hermit in the sideboard.
Yeah, which I would typically bring
This
in against a deck like this, but it has bounce, and that's not so good for the Sutured Ghoul combo.
yeah, snapping a Sutured Ghoul, pretty good from Rich's side, not
Hmm.
great from your side.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm stuck on two lands, so I can cast Frantic Search. Oh, this is just an awkward hand. Like I've got like Dark Ritual and stuff, but like no Cabal therapies. I don't have anything to do even once I do get out the enchantment. Like, oh, that's just really clunky, really clunky. And that's
Yeah.
a downside of this deck. Like it's a super sweet deck, but it has some incredibly clunky draws.
Mm.
So it looks like I'm gonna try and do something here with this Dark Ritual. Because I think I
Do
see
you
multiple frantic searches. So I think the idea is to frantic search and hopefully draw a land and then generate some mana off of that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think the inclusion of Portent would maybe, smooth some things out, or how strict are we here?
Possibly. I don't know what to cut though. I guess
Okay.
Form of the Dragon's probably a good one to get rid of, but All right,
I
so
mean,
Frantic
it's certainly
Search.
something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Frantic Search is a land, which is good.
okay, Rector in the yard.
So it looks like I can go for another Frantic Search, generate some mana. I can generate some black mana. That's the cool thing with the soul lands with the you can generate extra mana using your Frantic Searches. I have 3 Frantic Searches. Okay, that's a lot of Frantic Searches. That is
That is a lot
not a
of
lot
Frantic
of
Searches.
action. Okay, so discard some junk. Got 2 black mana
Discarding
floating. So it
land ritual.
means yeah, this is a weird situation because like I think I knew Rich was playing Storm. And I heard him cast Hoodwink earlier in the day, which I don't remember if that's in the main deck or not, but I was scared of it. So I was thinking about going for Form of the Dragon. So what I could do is I could Intuition for either Corpse Dance or Shallow Grave. But the problem is I just don't do anything, and then he like if I get Form of the Dragon, he can just kill me whenever he feels like. Like he can just brain freeze me out.
Mm-hmm.
So Rich is feeling comfortable here. He just goes for the meditate, which is something I do not do often enough as a storm player, which is just cast that meditate and get that mana. But this gives me a good opportunity to cast intuition. Uh,
Yeah.
I think if I had to guess, I think I'm gonna go for corpse dance here. Yeah, because corpse dance is like shallow grave with buyback. So basically, you get to put the top creature card. So graveyard order matters a lot. Top creature card of your graveyard into play gains haste and exile at the beginning of the next end step. So corpse dance with the buyback here would allow me to corpse dance multiple times, which would be pretty sweet. But I just don't have any like gas. Like I can get out this arcane this Catamarector, but then do nothing. So it doesn't seem like a winning strategy, but we'll see.
Yeah, Academy Rector, not super scary when it's just a squire. It's a lot scarier when it's being put into the graveyard.
Yep, yep. From play specifically, because I did put it in the graveyard, just
Oh yes, of course,
not
of
from the zone
course,
I
from play.
wanted to. Yeah. Oh, did I just
Mm-hmm.
draw Read the Runes? Because that's an interesting draw. It's a sack outlet. So Read the Runes is blue and X, draw X, and then discard or sacrifice permanents. Oh, that's another intuition. Okay. Um, and then that's the second serve as a card filterer as well as a way of generating sacrifice outlet for the Academy Rector. But no, the intuition. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna go for Frantic Search here. That's not where I want to be, but hit Cabal Therapy, so I got a sack outlet, which is great, but the problem is I don't have any way to capitalize. Yeah. So if I remember, I think I remember this game. I'm short a mana of like Corpse Dancing and casting Intuition because I need to cast that Intuition to get Arcanus into my graveyard, but I also need to get the Arcanus in my graveyard after I get the Mind Over Matter into play through the Academy Rector. And Rich just gets to sit there with 18 cards in his hand and not have to worry about any of these things. So I'm a little bit jealous of him.
Yeah, Rich is kind of just sitting there. He has just value meditated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, not even value meditated. I don't. I guess he doesn't have a lot of free interaction in his deck, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, you're out here taking 15, 16 game actions.
Mm-hmm.
Rich has taken 5.
Yep. Yep.
He's played 3 lands. He's cast an impulse. He's cast a meditate.
Yep. Pat on the
Um,
back from me for not missing my free damage with the Academy Rector.
yep, of course, of
Giving Rich a
course.
read on the Mind Over Matter. So of note for the super common matchups, you'll see where this gets played a lot. The Academy Rector trigger resolves before the Cabal Therapy. So the Mind Over Matter comes into play, then the therapy names a card, which can be awkward if you want to hit like a Naturalize or a Disenchant or something, because that gives them an opening sometimes, depending on the deck, to destroy your Mind Over Matter, which is a little awkward. Okay, so I named
Yeah, that's
Frantic
unfortunate.
Search. Okay, so I didn't give myself the heads up like I did before, but I guess you see it go away. So this is kind of an awkward hand. Rich has no cost reducers,
Oh my goodness!
but he
Wow,
does have
3
Snap
merchant
Cloud of
scrolls, 2
Fairies.
meditates, and a snap.
Yep,
Or is
yep.
that a?
It's
Oh no,
Snap
that's
and
a
Cloud of
cloud of
Fairies. Yeah, he's
fairies.
got Snap and Cloud of
Oh
Fairies.
yes, yes, yes. Okay,
Um,
I mean, yeah, he can twiddle. I mean, unfortunately there's
yeah,
not a whole lot he can do here.
yeah. So he gets to play his land. I think.
I mean,
Oh, did
you
he
know.
just draw a cost reducer? Yeah, he did. That's gonna be game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
Rich
yeah.
gets to
He
generate 2 extra mana here. Go for Frantic Search with Merchant Scroll, and I think this one's gonna. I would be very surprised if Rich was not able to pull this out here. Look at me being a gentleman, keeping track of his storm count.
Yeah. He did the thing of drawing the exact card that he needed at the
Mm.
time he needed it.
Yep. Yeah. It wasn't even a
But you know
Thoughtseize
that'll
bug too.
happen when
Like
you
I hit the
go
Frantic
eight to
Search with
ten
the
cards
Cabal
into the
Therapy.
deck.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
was that?
So I didn't even get Thoughtseize bugged. Like I got something with my Cabal Therapy, but then yeah, it's just yeah. You're like you said, drawing a very very good answer there.
Yeah.
All right, so Rich is gonna
Okay, so Merchant
Merchant
Scroll
Scroll.
number 1. I think that this is probably going to grab.
Snap makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're grabbing a snap.
could be any number of
Okay.
things. I don't think there's any wrong way to eat this Oreo. Rich is just gonna be generating Storm. My deck has no interaction to speak of. The only thing I could really do is tap something down with my Mind Over Matter, but that's not going to solve any problems.
Yeah, I think it is fairly deterministic at this point
Yeah,
because you have
yeah, and I
one
go
of the
ahead and
card
scoop
and it
it up.
looks
Yeah,
like you
let's
are
let's
packing
get
it
the
up.
brain
Yeah,
freeze.
there it is.
Just making him show me the
Yeah,
brain freeze.
especially with
Keep
the
him
three
honest.
merchant scrolls. I mean, he just
Hmm.
goes, snap, or I forget what he got with the first one, but he just goes X, snap, brain freeze,
Hmm.
and then unless you have, interaction in your, academy deck that can counter a spell in instant speed,
Hmm.
I don't really think you're doing much.
Okay, another Mold of Six, which is a thing this deck does a lot. It's an interesting deck list, but it requires some very specific draws. All right, so tossing back the Frantic Search. Got the reanimation spell with a Corpse Dance, and I boarded in Xantid Swarm, which is fantastic against blue decks. Shuts off most of the interaction they're going to have. Um, it's just going to be a matter of having business to go along with it. So looks like we got lands. Unfortunately, my colored source is a gemstone mine, so this Frantic Search is not going to be super attractive
Mm,
because I will not have mana sources in play to actually do anything after the fact. And Rich is in no hurry here. I mean, he's gonna just kind of be able to do his thing at his own pace. All right, so AK for
oh,
1 in response to the bees. Okay, so this is a cool thing I can do here is um, value Arcanist. So the Shallow Grave and the Corpse Dance have a delayed trigger to sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. So if you cast them during your opponent's end step, you get to keep the creature through their end step and into your next turn. So an option I have here is I can Frantic Search, discarding the Arcanist, and then cast a Shallow Grave or Corpse Dance or whatever, get back the Arcanist, tap, draw 3, untap, tap, and draw another 3, which is very, very powerful.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the
I
bees
think
don't help with that.
in drawing those 6 cards, you would hopefully be able to find land 3 that isn't another gemstone mine.
Typically, you can, yeah. Um, Looks like I'm going for the Frantic Search on my turn, which is fine, yeah. Maybe draw land and have like a maybe get like a Cabal Therapy or something to check out his hand, see if it's safe to go for
Yeah.
the Corpse Dance. I do not though.
A rector and a therapy hitting the fan.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is okay. This would be a win right here if I had a non-gemstone mine land because I can't generate enough colored mana sources to win.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
I'm going for the Cabal Therapy. Um, I've already attacked, so I don't get to attack with my Academy Rector.
Hmm.
So trigger the Rector. He can't interact with me because he's covered in bees. I believe, yeah, Minor Matter's gonna come out. I was gonna say, Form of the Dragon comes out against decks with bounce because like you get a Chain of Vapor and you're at 5, so that's not terribly exciting. And then you're stuck with a 7 drop in your hand.
Yeah, not super great.
Yeah. So this is kind of miserable for me.
It certainly doesn't seem great.
Yeah.
We got Merchant Scroll. I think that's Divert.
Okay, no clue what I
Some
named. I probably named
islands.
Arcane Denial. Oh no, I didn't name Arcane Denial because I got rid of it. So, or I didn't get rid of it. I'm guessing I went for Frantic Search or Meditate or something. Meditate's usually a good name against Frantic Storm. That's their main way of generating card advantage. So that can slow them down a lot. But like you said earlier, the AKs give a lot of advantage there, right?
Oh yeah, especially because you can get them off of Merchant Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
So in scenarios like this where you are still working on assembling your pieces,
Mm-hmm.
he can spend some time not worrying too much about his hand getting picked apart
Mm-hmm.
because the Cabal therapy is already in exile.
Right.
So
Right.
he can just kind of even if you end up just discarding getting him to discard the accumulated knowledge via Cabal therapy,
Mm-hmm.
does it really make that much of a difference? Because the next Merchant Scroll or AK just makes gives him that one more card, so he's up cards in the trade.
Ooh, this is ungood for me. My 6 mana
Uh oh.
enchantment is going to get Chain of Vapored, and there is not a lot I can do about that. I also have
Yeah.
the other Mind Over Matter is also in my hand, so I can't Academy Rector for that one.
Mm, I wonder if. I mean, you can't really. I guess you could, in theory, have named Merchant Scroll here to try and tag him try and stop him from tagging the Mind Over Matter.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
being stuck with just an Ancient Tomb here when he has looks like
He's
only an
got a lot.
Arcane Denial
Yeah, he's got a
though.
lot. He's got enough to do though. Like I can't even go for the value Corpse Dance here because he's got Arcane
Because of
Denial.
Arcane Denial.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he's just going
that's
in his own pace. You
yeah.
are
He's not under
presenting
any pressure at all. Yeah, there's
nothing.
he can just chill. If I draw any business, he's got the Arcane Denial. Divert can do something. I'm not sure what Divert's for here. Maybe to shut down a Cabal
Well,
therapy, but
divert. I mean, couldn't that do redirect a corpse dance if he's got a Cloud of Furies?
no, Corpse Dance doesn't target. It brings the
Oh.
top creature card of your graveyard back to play. Okay, so I've got
Oh, right, because
the
divert
Lotus
it's a
Petal.
SWAT effect.
Yep,
Yes, right.
yep.
It's
So
not
Lotus Petal goes
commandeer.
for the. Looks like I'm just going for like a bad concentrate here, and I trade 3 for 3.
Well, you get to draw a bunch of cards.
Yep. Maybe I'm getting that card advantage count wrong. Oh, a City of Brass. That's exciting.
Hey, look, a colored source of mana. Haven't
That
seen that
is
one in a while.
always nice to have. Always nice to have.
Yeah. So,
And
do
the
you have
bees
any
come back out.
way of getting the Mind Over Matter back onto the board without having to pay retail?
No, not right now, because I think both of them are in my hand. So yeah, I've got one in my hand and one that I'm showing that's in my hand.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I've got to pay full price going forward.
Yeah.
So not ideal, not impossible though. I mean, it's a 4 Lotus Petal deck. There's a decent number of blue sources, so
I mean, look,
it's
all
within the
you
realm of
need is a
possibility.
City of Traders and some Frantic searches, and that can
Hmm.
generate a decent amount of mana. I mean, triple blue will be a little bit hard to generate, but you
Yeah,
know, it's
unfortunately, triple blue's not enough.
certainly your most likely option.
It's a quadruple blue spell.
Oh,
It's 4 blue and 2.
even
Yep,
even better.
it is
Then.
challenging.
Ugh.
But that said, I mean, if I do get to the lands, I mean, Rich hasn't done anything for the last like 3 turns, just playing lands and passing. I've got the bees in play, so I can resolve the mind over matter if I draw the requisite lands. It's just, can I do that before he just decides to kill me?
Yeah, he just needs to assemble the right resources because at this point, you haven't interacted with his interaction much at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're fairly tied up with your colored sources, so
Mm-hmm.
he can just continue to stockpile these resources. And, unfortunately, he has cards that say draw a card on them. You don't.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just kind of, which train's going faster here.
Mm-hmm.
Merchant Scroll. And looks like the storm is beginning.
Yeah, I think I'm just keeping track of it as a formality. He's probably gonna go for like meditate or something just to build up some extra resources. Because again, he's not under any pressure. He does not know I have the other mind over matter in my hand, but
Mm.
I don't know if Rich knows 100% what I'm trying to do anyway. So he may just be like, yeah, whatever, just go for it.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I know what Dance Academy does is because you explained it to me.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird deck. I love it. It's a sweet deck, but it's a weird deck.
Yeah, I think it was at, or maybe you beat me with it a couple monthlies ago. I don't know.
Possibly, I'm not sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so he merchant scrolls for AK with one in the graveyard, and this is where AK like can get very powerful. Like you get to build up. one leads into the next, into the next, into the next.
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively just digging 2 cards deeper into his deck with that Merchant Scroll.
Mm-hmm. Which is not
Because
bad. It's
he's
keeping man
building
up for
2
Arcane
cards.
Denial, which isn't great against the bees, but again, it does stop me from doing value dancing. Why am I not playing
Oh,
this
right, yeah.
swamp? Why am I not attacking? Oh, he wants to do something before I attack attackers. Okay. Like, why
Okay.
did I unattack with my bees?
Mm.
And Rich
Oh,
acting out being
Rich
covered by
being
bees.
possessed by the bees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Chris who got me this Xantid Swarm as a commemoration of the top 8 I made as a result of Xantid Swarm at the Duress Crew Regional in the summer of last year or summer of this year, I think. Feels like a
Oh,
long time
very
ago.
nice.
But yeah, he's like, man, Xantid Swarm's so good. I'm like, it was so good. Despite playing Hermit Feb, like it was not great with the Hermit combo, but it's very good with the traditional um Vara Shapeshifter combo, which if I remember to, I can toss up a link to it here for the
Hmm.
Feb primer. It's got a pretty good information on how the combos work. Although I don't
Certainly
think
got me
Feb is very
interested.
good right now. Good, good. Yeah, I don't know if it's great right now, but it's a sweet deck as well. Just a
Yeah, I
lot. There's a lot of
mean,
burn out there, and burn is really tough for Feb to deal with. Okay, value meditate, winky face.
yeah, a lot of burn and a lot of uh a lot of in-speed interaction.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yep.
there's a lot of foiling, there's a lot of bouncing, there's a lot of stifling, which
Yep.
is kind of
Yep.
big.
Yep. Okay, so he's got the crypt, which is gonna make things difficult. Building up some storm with a frantic search. No cost reducer as of yet, but he can draw Lotus Veil. He can draw any of his cost reducers. He may even just be able to honestly storm me out.
Yeah, I mean, he's digging as hard as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oof, wow,
He's got a
this
lot
is
of cards. Yeah,
a
Hoodwink
lot.
goes away. Yep.
Yeah, and you don't really. He's got you covered with one layer of protection with the Tormod's Crypt, and at this point,
Mm-hmm.
there
Yep.
doesn't seem to be too many things standing between him and
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4,
casting a large brain
5, 6,
freeze.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I think I've got like 5 cards in hand, it's like 18 cards. So I'm looking at 42 in my deck. So we need like roughly 17, 18 storm to deck me. So
With 42 cards left in deck, he would need 14 exactly.
yeah. Oh, 40. Okay, yeah. So I'm doing the math wrong. Yep. So conversely, double brain freeze, which we have one. Do we have another one?
And no, we don't just have one, Carl.
Oh, we got
We
4.
have
That's a
all
lot of
of
brain
them.
freezes. Okay, yeah, that'll
Oh
that'll probably do it.
my goodness.
And then it
Wow.
looks like I'm explaining to Rich what my deck does. Like it does win sometimes, just not
Hmm.
when it. I had some very awkward draws that match. The gemstone mine being the only colored source game 2, game 1 stumbling on lands. Yeah, it was a little rough. Cool thing about the 5 color mana base is you get to bring in things like Xantid Swarm and Crumble, which are great.
Yeah, certainly. Would you consider maybe trimming down more on cards like the Crumble and the Xantid Swarm to try and stick the deck between 2 colors, just go straight blue black?
That would be a good deck. That would be like the deck that won the Duress Crew Regional last month, which was Blue Black Suture Duel.
Oh, Tin Fins. Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
it was
Basically tin fins,
called
yeah.
Tin
Yeah,
Fins.
basically tin fins, yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty good one. So that is probably the better version of Dance Academy, but it is not nearly as sweet. You're not playing Mind Over Matter, so there's that. But if you want
Yeah.
to win, I guess you could play good cards instead. That seems fine. I guess it's something you're allowed to do.
Ah, come on. Playing good cards in pre-modern. What are we?
Ain't got
What's
no time
going
for
on
that.
here?
Ain't got no time for that.
Yep.
But great win from Rich. Well played on his part. He was very patient, took his time, didn't rush, and he was able to get there pretty. He made it look pretty effortless. So we had a great turn. I think we had like 15 players. We would have had 16 possibly if one of our nerds wasn't having a birthday weekend. So it was a great
Hmm.
event, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. Any final comments, Ryan, before we let the good people go?
Nope. I am very excited to eventually learn this deck and Dance Revolution my way into hopefully a good performance.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of the day. And for Ryan and myself, we'll catch you later.